All right. Okay, we're live. Hello,
Hi.
hello. Good evening, everyone. I see we have some viewers right now. Okay, so today our topic is going to be running for mental wellness. So as you know, everyone always says like, there's like this popular saying that runners always say, right? Like, oh, I'm feeling stressed today. I'm gonna go out for a run, or
Yes.
like, yeah, or like a partner. If let's say you're a runner and your partner sees you like cranky on the day itself, and he'll be like, or he or she will be like, honey, do you want to go out for a run today? because because they know that like running is actually like a very therapeutic kind of activity, and it helps you clear your mind and alleviate moods. But
Yep.
so today we wanted to discuss how does it actually help you manage stress, and how does it help you maintain mental health. I mean, we know that it does do that, but what is the science behind it? And we have here Evelyn. Evelyn, can you say hi?
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in for those who decided to watch us yapping at 9
Yes,
p.m. today.
yes, more like a catch up for us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Evelyn is just a bit of intro for you. So
Mm.
Evelyn is a clinical psychologist, and she has over 6 years of experience. And she basically, I knew her in college when we took like college friend Taylor's. So when we took a psychology subject together, but since then, she's gone on to actually like build a career in psychology. She started her own clinic, a center that is called NPS Psychological Services, and basically her motto is to look beyond illness and to facilitate like clients' recovery. So and her passion is to help underprivileged communities. So
Mm.
yeah, Evie, why don't I call her Evie, by the way? So Evie, why don't you introduce yourself as well?
Yes, thanks, Lee Hong. For those of you, because Lee Hong and I, we go back like long, like way back since college,
Yeah.
and we normally call her Simi. So Evie
Yeah.
and Simi. Yeah, so
No,
thanks
don't
for
say
the
my name.
thanks for the introduction. So yeah, yeah, so to add on what Lee Hong shared earlier is after graduating college, I went to take my bachelor's, then my master's, and eventually graduated as a clinical psychologist. So for today's session, it's just gonna be something lighthearted, just sharing.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any questions at all regarding mental health, related or non-related to running, feel free to ask them and I'll try my very best to answer that.
Yeah, okay, awesome. In
Mm.
fact, we don't have a question yet, but we have a comment from one of our members. Joe, he was like, just done my run, so stressed
Oh.
with he's stressed because of the run. Okay. Anyways, he said because his pace has dropped.
Mm.
Yeah, I think so
Mm.
because of the MCO, everyone's taken a bit of break from running, and then like not to
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
yeah.
that feeling can be very frustrating because I recently went back to running as well. And
Wow.
after like 2 km plus running, then I'll be like, cannot breathe. Then I
Oh,
realized that my stamina has also gone down, even though, working out at home, like doing some HIIT exercises. And it's very different from running. The feeling is very different as well when you
yeah.
can run
It is.
freely out there at the
Yeah,
park.
exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, like, I did some like indoor running also. It just feels different now. I mean, it's
Right?
doable, but
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Feels
Anyway,
confined.
it's comfort. Yeah, you feel like a bit claustrophobic. Yeah,
Mm.
right. Like to be at home. Anyways, yeah, so maybe I wanted to also add like Evie, she's actually also a YOLO Pacer member. She joined us for one of I think the Round Malaysia Challenge, right? Was it last year? Yeah.
Last year and the year before, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always fun, even though a bit kanchiong when we have to meet our mileage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those who recognize her, do feel free to say hi in the comments below. Yeah, so yeah, as Evie said, it's gonna be like casual chat and me just kind of quizzing her and trying to pick her brains. Like, yeah, like why is it like that?
Yep,
Okay,
feel free.
yeah. So like my first question, right?
Mm,
So also to basically spread awareness on this, right? Like how running is actually good for mental health.
mhm.
So a lot of people think that running is like it's just a good like cardio activity for weight loss.
Mm,
So the lesser known thing is that that is actually good for mental health. And I wanted to ask you like how does it actually help? Like, yeah, what is the
yeah.
science behind it?
Yeah. So actually, whenever we talk about staying healthy, right, we oftentimes we think about staying healthy physically, right? But actually, when we talk about health or healthy, it's not just about physical health, but it's also about mental health. But then, the word mental health always, often than not, it, kind of turns people off. But yes, when we talk about healthy, a person being healthy, it is both physical health and mental health. And when we talk about mental health, if we dig in deeper, we often relate to stress, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
today, before we go into, what's the actual reasons of how running is helpful for mental health, maybe I'll just explain a little bit about how, when we are stressed and how that actually affects our mental health and why running helps. Okay, so I have my props here.
oh wow.
Okay.
Props some more.
Yes, committed. Okay,
Okay,
so imagine, right? So this bottle of water,
yeah.
red water signifies stress. Okay,
Mm.
so you try to imagine this is us lah, right? So this is stress. Now, actually, not all stress is bad. Actually, moderate level of stress is actually good for us because it motivates us to do things, and then it keeps us in check, right? So imagine if this is our stress level, then we can perform day-to-day tasks effectively, efficiently. So try to imagine if this is
Mm-hmm.
stress.
Whoa.
Now, when we have stress, let's say right now with COVID, with work, with other stuff, when we are stressed, our body will actually release like different types of hormones, right? And the two main one is cortisol and
Mm-hmm.
adrenaline. Cortisol
Yeah.
and adrenaline is also part of here, but then you see it's balanced here. So imagine if you have a lot of stress, right? So because of COVID, because of family, because
Mm-hmm.
of relationship, and then the
Mm-hmm.
amount of stress gets piled up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until one point where when we can't or when we can no longer cope with stress, guess what happens? It will overflow,
Yeah.
right? So how does exercise help? Now you see now that our body is filled with this different kind of hormones, adrenaline and cortisol. And when this is too full, too filled up, we tend to get restless. We tend to get agitated. This is where we say that we are so stressed out. And
Yeah.
some individuals, they can't even focus in work, they can't focus in studies and things like that. So with so many energy piled up, this is where running helps. So running basically helps you to reduce all this excess energy that you have from your body and to help for it to
Mm.
go back to the baseline level. Okay.
I see.
So if we talk about, apart from reducing stress, right? So running, we can use like all this extra energy. That is why we tend to feel good and more calm after that. And most importantly, we will also produce like, these feel good chemicals where we call the
Yeah.
endorphins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
actually endorphins is really, really good for us. And it helps to, build certain connection in our brain. So it will actually help for better mood, better sleep, reduce blood pressure. So it's actually like a mood booster for us.
Yeah.
On top of that, exercising can also help to prevent cognitive decline. So generally, cognitive decline will happen at about 45 years old. So if you
Mm.
start really, exercising between 25 to 45, start exercising now, it can actually prevent degeneration of your brain, right?
I
So it
see.
doesn't only help to boost up your mood, but also it helps in terms of your cognition. But of course, apart from all this physiological, there's also the social part, right? Like here, everyone is in the running group, and to just have support from our fellow runners just feels good.
Yeah, true. Wow, explained it so well. So, like, I actually learned something new today. I mean, I knew about the endorphins thing, but in terms of how it actually empties, kind of brings your stress level down, to prevent it being overflowing. That's something like a new concept. So, how does it actually do that? Does it like restrict the secretion of like these stress hormones, or like? Yeah.
So actually, it doesn't restrict it, but basically using up like the energy here.
Oh, okay.
So you go back to the normal, like, the baseline level.
I
So
see.
actually, stress is good for us. You try to imagine if I empty this one, right? It becomes
relaxed.
So we become too relaxed, or maybe we become not unmotivated to do things. People who are depressed, most of the time they are actually up here. But because of a lot of, these self-defeating thoughts and things like that, it makes them feel like they don't want to do stuff. So it doesn't mean that, people who are anxious or depressed, it doesn't mean that they are lazy. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. So, like, do you know if there's like a minimum amount of like exercise you have to do to get that benefit? Like 10 minutes, 5 minutes enough kind of thing?
Yeah, so research says that about 10 minutes of brisk walking can already do the trick, 10 to 15 minutes. But if, let's say, if you know people around you, or if you are experiencing some really stressful times and, you realize that maybe or maybe not, I'm feeling very low, 20 minutes would do the trick. So 20 minutes 3 times per week would do the trick, according to research. So yeah, if you really, really don't have time to exercise, I know that a lot of us are actually juggling with a lot of stuff right now. So 10 minutes of brisk walking actually helps.
I see. Cool. So does it help with it helps a regular person who has a lot of stress levels, right? But does it help like someone who has really chronic stress? Like would it be a useful like supplement to helping to manage that?
So actually, exercising would be our natural kind of medication, because our body is just really amazing, because we have this built-in mechanism to actually, manage all this stress, manage all these different, anxiety feelings and things like that. So if people who are experiencing, let's say, what I shared earlier, chronic depression, right? 20 minutes would do the trick. But most importantly, like how some of us, because of work, we tend to try to cram like the whole week worth of exercise to a single day or 2 days. So actually that you can do that as well, but research shows that frequency is actually more important than duration. Even though there are people who suggest that, if they go for long runs, slow pace run, it is good for mental health, right? Because one of the theories is that because, when you're running slow and long distance, it's like your brain keeps firing that endorphins.
Yeah.
But if, let's say, you can't do long distance run, right? Everyone has their own threshold, has their own level. So minimum 10 minutes of brisk walking would help. If you know someone around you who is really, really stressed out and you think that, they would benefit from longer exercises, 20 minutes is found that individuals with depression, that would be very helpful. 20 minutes, 3 times a week.
Cool. Oh, so that debunks the myth that slower and longer distances are actually better to clear the mind as opposed to like higher frequency but shorter periods. Which
So we go back to this, right? So imagine today I'm here, right? So if I don't exercise, the next day it still continues to be here, right? Unless if you have time to go for long runs, that would be great, right?
Yeah.
But then imagine if, let's say right now, day to day, you really don't have that time and you just want to release some of this extra energy off. 10, 15, 20 minutes, that's good. But if you can do long runs, that will be great.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's even better lah, in a way. I see. But I guess we also have to be careful with like running too much as well. Like what if like, every day I'm stressed and every day I'm running like really long distances. I guess that would also kind of affect it'll bring other problems such as overtraining or overuse of your legs, your joints.
Yeah. I was actually Googling up about running addiction, right? So yeah, there's actually this thing called running addiction, but it's not like an official diagnosis per se. But what they say is that because when we run, we feel good, right? The endorphins are being released, and these endorphins are oftentimes, similar to when, for example, a person, let's say, take drugs, right? It triggers that same kind of point in our brain. So that's when endorphins are being released. So when they run, like people with running addiction, it says that, it keeps triggering that part to be activated. And then to one point where, if let's say in a day they don't run, they feel very restless, till a point if it affects interpersonal relationship, then that's a problem. Or if it affects your physical health even, then that is something to look at.
How to manage that? Because I feel like I have that too. When I don't run for days and then I'll feel like, oh, I'm so cranky today. Why? I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't run for a long time. So
yeah, but normally we will look at different aspects though, because if you take the running word away, when we talk about just addiction, right? Oftentimes it's like, when a person tries to, I have knee pain, right? I do have like this one client that has knee pain, but then can't stop running, and it aggravates more knee pain. And if doesn't run, then it gets really restless, cranky, and affecting like interpersonal relationships. So that is when we need to take look at it. But it doesn't mean that one day if I don't run, I feel restless. It needs to be like a prolonged period of time. Yeah.
And really affect like your other areas of your life, in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. Okay. I guess one more point to add to that is maybe we have to like find other sources of endorphins also. Or just be fine with being not so happy. Like, right? Just like let the feelings of crankiness calm and go away. What do you think?
Yeah, well, yes and no. I guess it depends on how much is affecting you, right? If let's say I see a comment here, how to stop exercise, don't know how. If not exercise, I feel so stressed. Don't stop exercising, right? I mean, exercise is actually good for you, right? But if let's say in one day, you find that because of excessive exercise, it's affecting your physical health, it's affecting you not being able to concentrate, for instance, is affecting you with your relationship with people around you, then that is when perhaps it's something to look into. But generally, exercise is actually good for health because, again, we have this built-in mechanism. We have this stress that we need to, reduce as much as we can and manage our daily routine.
I guess the key word there is balance in a way. Yeah. So anyways, so that we have a few people saying hi. Maybe let's just address them. There's Cyril and Melissa. Melissa's watching. Yeah. And so the person that was asking how to stop exercise, she does exercise quite a lot. I didn't know it's because she wants to stop feeling so stressed. But it's probably the main reason for a lot of people. I guess to add on to that, Rina, like I'm also going to take that advice. Maybe we need to find like other forms of sources of endorphins in a way. Yeah, and other ways to manage stress. It's kind of like having these tools of managing stress and we kind of diversify it so that we don't, let's say, exercise too much and exhaust our body, that kind of thing. Yeah, maybe listening to music. I don't know. Do you have like other suggestions for us?
Yeah, I mean, finding balance is always like, one of the toughest thing, right? Especially when we are more stressed, we tend to exercise more. There are times where I've done that myself also, over exercise, and I strain my
Oh,
muscle, right?
okay.
But then at the end of the day, I mean, we know how we really feel if let's say we are really stressed and it is affecting our sleep, and sometimes even there are also times where I felt that after running, I didn't actually feel like that great as compared to how it was last time, right?
Yeah, there's some hits and misses kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to coping, it would be good to explore like what you shared, Simi, about exploring different coping styles.
Yeah.
Not just sticking to one, because a lot of times when we stick to one, sometimes maybe we used to feel good, but maybe today I feel meh, not that
Yeah.
great after running. Maybe something to explore, to try something new, even pick up a new hobby, try something different. You never
Yeah.
know that would actually make you feel better. But if, let's say, you really notice that this stress is really affecting you to the point where you really can't really function, perhaps reaching out would be one of the options too. Because a lot of times, even for us as therapists, we do have our blind spots as well. So we do check in with our therapist, our supervisor, our peers.
I see. Yeah, basically we need to have some sort of like human connection lah, no matter
Yeah.
how like introverted we are. So that's like I mean, they do say like humans are naturally like social beings lah, right?
Uh-huh.
So I guess we need to basically do what we're born to do in a way. Okay, cool. Maybe for those who just join in, I'll just do a quick kind of reintro a bit. So basically, we're doing this like virtual evening chat, and I have here Evelyn. She's basically a clinical psychologist who's gonna share with us how does running help our mental health, and how does it help us manage stress. So okay, and to those who are watching, I see there's quite a number of you. If you guys have questions, just feel free to ask. Like now's the best time to ask. Oh, I see Coach Sam saying hi. Yeah, do
Hey.
ask. Do ask, and anything you want to know about like the science behind managing stress with running, and how does it actually help mental health and mental wellness. Okay, so I did prepare some questions, so I'm gonna ask them as well. to
Okay.
get to it.
Shoot them away.
So, yeah. So okay, one of the questions I have is let's say we are recommending running, right? But actually, what if like you don't have time to exercise at all? What is like what would you say like are easy like first steps to like take control of my mental health? You did share a bit earlier, but I thought like specifically what is like the easy steps we can do if we really don't have time at all to run. Yeah.
Yeah, especially right now, with the whole COVID thing, right? And a lot
Yeah.
of us, we are pretty much stressed out, right? So, first thing first, I would like to reassure you guys out there, if you're feeling stressed, confused, sad, frustrated, it is a very, very normal response, especially during this period, right? Because
Right.
basically our human side is being activated, our survival mode is being activated, right? But then at the same time, if we are in this survival mode for a long period of time, that will actually take a toll on us. That is when it will make us feel really flustered, affect our decision making, memory, feeling hot tempered, and all. So I know many of us are trying our very best to cope, but there are basically three things that I would like to, share with everyone here that you can do for yourself. Okay. Now, when you feel flustered, but you have to make certain decisions, yeah, everyone have that experience before. I want you guys to remember the acronym STOP, S-T-O-P. Okay. S basically means stop and take 3 deep breaths. Okay, or a few deep breaths if you want.
Okay.
So just stop everything whatever that you're doing. Take a couple of deep breaths. Stop. The next one is T. T means think. Okay. After we took like a few deep breaths, we just think of what would happen if we continue to feel flustered like this. It won't actually help me in making decisions. It wouldn't help me in making like good moves and what we are planning to do next. Right. So try to think and process that. And also think about the O, which is options. What are your current options available that you can do in managing this? Right? Even though in a really, really tough situation, perhaps at that juncture, you can't think of any other options, reach out to people around you if you need. Yeah, try to come up with at least 2 or 3 options to whatever difficulties that you are experiencing. And the last one would be P, praise. Every time, you notice that when we are doing the good deeds, right, we are making good decisions, we often forget to praise ourselves or give ourselves a pat at the back, right? So don't forget to praise yourself, or even, go to Family Mart and get like an ice cream or something like that as your cheat day, right? Never forget to praise yourself for the effort that you have actually invested on. So the first technique that I would like to share is stop. The second thing is, when we talk about exercise, right, we always think about, I need to put on my full gear, wear my baju, my watch and stuff like that, right? And that itself sometimes,
I totally relate. Yeah.
And I have that blues too. Sometimes it sometimes like, becomes like a chore. But if we were to switch that perception, that thinking a little bit, exercise, it doesn't always mean that you have to be on full gear, right? Just taking a walk, a 10 to 15 minutes walk, research shows that is really helpful in itself.
I see.
So change your perception when it comes to exercising. Point number 2. The last one, point number 3, is what I shared earlier. If you notice that it is affecting your different areas of functioning, different life experiences and stuff like that, then do feel free to reach out and speak to someone about this, whether it's your friend or whether it is someone like some mental health professional, counselor, or psychologist like myself.
I see. Cool. So three simple steps we can do. Basically stop and do like 15 minutes. If you don't have time at all, just do 15 minutes walking.
Yeah.
And walking is better than nothing. Yeah, if you don't have time to run. And walking, you don't have to change into your clothing as well.
Exactly.
And last but not least, basically reach out to people. And even though nowadays we are a bit more isolated than usual, so we have to reach out. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. There's one thing that I recently read, right? So, when we talk about stress, it's when our heart tends to pump faster as well. Yeah, when we are stressed out. So our body, again, there's this really beautiful inbuilt mechanism where they found that when a person, let's say today I'm reaching out for help, right? I went out to look for Lee Hong. And that reaching out itself can already trigger sense of comfort, can already trigger like some hormones being produced. It's called the oxytocin. Oxytocin itself can actually act as a hormone that repairs our heart. So, by reaching out, simple action, by reaching out to someone or someone reaching out to talk to you, that itself can really trigger that hormone for being produced. And that can actually repair our heart. I find that really, really cool.
Yeah. So that hormone oxytocin can actually repair your heart? Repair in what sense?
So if let's say we exert our heart, right? If it pumps, right? This oxytocin is also, if you Google it up, it's called the cuddle hormones. Is where if you're with someone, we hug them. This is the hormone that will actually repair from this exertion.
Cool. So is oxytocin also a feel good kind of hormone?
I would say yes, but it serves it's kind of different from the endorphins lah.
Yeah, I see. So it how do you actually generate it? By reaching out to people?
Reaching out.
Oh, okay.
Get support, get talk to someone. Just now you shared like a lot of us maybe we are introverted.
Yeah.
Introverts and extroverts, we still need some form of connection. Maybe the dosage is different for introverts and extroverts, but all
Yeah.
of us would need that kind of connection. That is what makes us human.
I see. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm learning so much today. So like, in fact, like just to like recap, right? So I learned that actually like running is it's kind of like a form of activity to release the feel good hormones to kind of kickstart your body to release these feel good hormones to help you like manage the stress.
Mm,
Then actually like there are other ways you can think of what kind of activities helps you generate those kind of hormones, which is endorphin hormones. And
yeah.
then at the same time, you should also like kind of look at other activities, like reaching out to people which
Mm-hmm.
generate the oxytocin hormones, which helps you like you say, repair your heart. And
Mm,
I think it also relates to people say there's this broken. I read about this broken heart syndrome when people
mm.
are like broken hearted,
Okay.
and why do they feel like their chest is so painful kind of
Ah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, so
So,
it's
mhm.
yeah,
So
in a
it's
way.
actually, yeah, you
Yeah,
go first.
what do you what do you what is it actually?
So actually there is a relationship between pain, right?
uh
Pain and also negative emotion, right? So when we are even for, back then I was practicing in a clinic in a hospital called chronic pain clinic, where
mm,
individuals they have pain, some
yeah,
parts of their body or certain like the full body pain, even though there is no exactly like any injury. So after they did
yeah,
scans, everything is fine, but they still
yeah.
feel the pain, right? It's just like some diabetic patients, if they amputated their leg, but they still feel that leg and they still feel pain at that
Wow.
area of the leg, right? So pain and emotion, they are interrelated. So whenever we feel negative emotions, right? So whether it's sadness or anger or whatever, that would actually increase, you know, pain in terms of like physical. It will be translated as a form of physical pain.
I
And the more you
see.
feel that, the more you have like these negative kind of emotions. So it's like a
Like
cycle, right?
yeah.
But basically it's just, our body trying to tell us, hey, reach out, reach out to
Mm,
someone, speak to someone. Because I think if your body or your heart can talk, I think it will be like, reach out, right? But then this
yeah.
is how our body actually signal it to us.
How it's communicating to us?
Yeah.
I see. Okay, so we need to recognize that. But
Mm-hmm.
how do we recognize if a body pain is like literally something wrong with your tendons and muscles, or is it
Uh-huh.
like a psychological thing? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. Usually, what we will recommend is if, let's say, I'm having, let's say, really bad chest pain, right? A lot of clients with anxiety, they will say that, oh, I cannot breathe. I feel like my heart, I think I'm having a
Mm,
heart attack. So, normally,
mm.
what we'll do is we recommend this particular person to actually go check out first to rule out any actual physical kind of illnesses, right?
Yeah.
So if that is being ruled out, everything is clear, ECG, everything is clear, then they can come back to see us. Then maybe something psychological is happening. So we will
I
explore and then teach them techniques on how to cope with that.
basically doing multiple tests in a
Mm,
way.
mm,
Okay, cool. So
yeah,
like, and then I just when you were explaining that, I was just thinking like, is that the reason why like runners don't feel pain as much when they're running? Because like maybe your other feel good hormones are blocking the pain. Because especially when you do like all these like
mm, mm,
all these like maybe I do like trail runs, and they're actually like quite strenuous, some of them, and ultra runs. I haven't done them, but it feels as if like they don't feel any pain at that moment. Maybe they do, but it doesn't seem to impact them at that time. So
yeah,
is it because
yeah.
of the hormones which are helping?
I
Even
think
like,
that could very be the one of the reasons. Again, imagine if this is filled up, right?
yeah,
Imagine this filled up, and then when you're doing all these runs, it's
yeah.
basically exerting stress onto your body as well, right? So it's like that remains at that level.
Oh, okay.
So when for example you finish the run and you go back home,
Yeah,
and then that's when your body starts aching. And also when you do like these trail runs, a lot of times you're with friends or people that you know of. There's this excitement, there's this sense of accomplishment that comes
yeah.
in play. Then when you reach home, even though this one already like halfway through, right? But then that feeling of, some people, they would feel this feeling of emptiness. They don't know
Oh,
how
that's right.
to, yeah, this feeling of emptiness and this strange feeling of sadness. It can be a form of, like you shared, a form of distraction. It can perhaps due to at that point, there's this adrenaline rush that keeps pushing you to that survival mode, that you don't
Yeah,
have time to actually process all this emotion, because our brain works that way, right?
I
So
see.
when you go back home and you're more calm, this is when all this starts coming in play.
I see. So it's a bit like, they say those Olympians who compete their whole lives, and then after they retire, they feel like a bit of like loss of purpose.
Mm.
Yeah, in a way, because suddenly you kind of lost your source of endorphins in a way, and maybe you do have some internal feelings that you had to go through, but you kind of just block it out at the moment. Is that why?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it also goes back to, the meaning, especially for these Olympians, right? Their meaning in life is attached very much to, going for competition, going for, trainings. So most of their life is shaped around that. And when they stop competing, it's almost like this part of them is being removed away from them, right? This part
mm,
of their identity. So I believe, hormones, our physiological changes do play a role, but there are also a lot of, all these social factors, all these psychological factors that is happening at the same time too. That's why
yeah,
whenever we talk to clients, we
yeah,
don't only ask about, like do you have any medical history or things like that, but we also explore what's the psychological aspect, what's the social aspect, what's the biological aspect. So we call the biopsychosocial basically.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
areas that we look into. Yeah.
Basically, there's many factors that could affect you. It's not just like biological.
Mm.
I see. Okay. And I think it also comes back to again the same thing, like you need balance, the key message. Because if you let's say like for if running is like your identity your whole life, and then one day you can't run, then you feel like loss of identity. So I
Mm.
think perhaps a preemptive kind of way to manage is also to find like diversify a bit. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just advising myself because I don't have any other activity other than running.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it would be interesting to explore, because actually during this process of exploration, it can be very anxiety provoking as well. It's like, you're trying something new, that kind of feeling. Like you need to get adjusted, and then maybe if you try other sports, you need to train, right? But then
yeah,
I believe during that process, you can also learn a lot about yourself sometimes. And it's not just about, exercising to feel good, but also understanding more about yourself, because we do change according to situations.
yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Okay. Um. Well, we kind of like we're kind of running out of time. I do have so many questions to ask you. I'm not sure if the Europe is just. I think they're a bit shy, but
Don't be shy.
Rina said agreed. Physical pain is related to emotion. Looks like you've got some stories to share with us. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Maybe I'll just like I wanted you to share a bit of like what other exercise we can do to manage our stress, right? And you mentioned you wanted to share a bit on that as well. In terms, was it shared earlier already? The in terms of the breathing technique. Yeah.
Share a little bit more. So this will take about three minutes. Would that be okay?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Something that we can learn.
So basically, Simi was asking about what other exercises that, whenever we are so stressed and we can do, not physically, but psychological kind of exercises. So we know very well that whenever we are anxious, we tend to have shallow breathing, right? So one very good way to actually regulate our stress, because through breathing itself, we can already regulate our stress response, right? If we intentionally breathe fast right now, if you just give it a try, Li Hong, we just give
Yeah,
it a
okay.
try for, let's say, 10 seconds. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to breathe really, really fast. And for you out there who are watching, we can do this activity together. Okay. So
All
for
right.
10 seconds, I want you to breathe really, really quickly, like kind of quickly.
All right.
Meanwhile, at the same time, I want you to observe how your body feels. Okay. At the end of the 10 seconds, you let me know how you feel. All right.
Do it. I know there's people watching. Don't let me be the only one doing it.
Type your response, whatever response that you get from your body after the 10-second mark. Okay.
Okay.
Ready, steady, go. Stop.
Okay.
How do you feel, Li Hong?
I don't know how to feel.
Was it easy, difficult?
It's a bit hard towards the end. Like, yeah, it's like lost the rhythm a bit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
How does
like
it feel
getting
here around your chest?
it's actually it felt a bit tighter. I don't know, like when
Yeah.
like exercising. Like
Yeah. So you
yeah.
imagine, right? Just with 10 seconds, we change our breathing pattern to breathing really quickly itself can already cause certain physical reaction, like your chest getting tighter. Whenever I do this with my client, I can feel like lightheadedness, a bit dizziness, and my heart starts to ache a little bit. I'm not sure if you guys out there, if you have any comments on how your body feels,
Yeah.
feel
You
free
guys
to comment. But yeah, Li Hong, you shared that you felt tightness here, right?
yeah.
So that goes to show breathing does affect how your body responds, right? So for the next 3 minutes, we're going to do this one activity, okay? It's called the 3-minute breathing space. You can actually Google it online if you're interested, but let's try to do this together for 3 minutes. And for these 3 minutes, it's just for us to allow this space for us to be with our own body. Okay? Now, first thing first is that I want everyone to sit in a comfortable position. Okay, if you're sitting on the couch, you can do that.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable. Even got my pillow here.
Okay, so sit in a very comfortable position, and whenever you're ready, you can close your eyes. Okay, so basically this is just going to be like a 3-minute breathing space, just allowing yourself this opportunity, allowing your body to have this 3 minutes of space. Okay, now I want you to slowly pay attention to all the different parts of your body, starting from your head, your cheeks, all the way down to your thighs and your toes. Try to notice all the different sensations, all the different feelings. And if you have any thoughts or emotions that come to mind, just allow them to flow by. You don't have to solve them right now because this 3 minutes is just to allow yourself to have this space. So just to observe all these different thoughts, feelings, sensations. Very good. Now slowly move by focusing on your breathing. Okay. Start to focus on your breathing, how the air goes in to your nostril, into your lungs, and then it goes out from your lungs, out to your nostril. Put your attention to your breathing for the next few seconds. Try to feel how the air feels when it goes into your nose and when it comes out. Right? Now slowly, as you focus on your nose, I want you to expand this attention to the rest of your body. It can be any part of your body, starting from your head all the way down to your toes. Just expand that awareness. At this point, you may even start to notice how your skin feels, the different sensation, what you're smelling, what you're hearing apart from my voice. And do know that whenever you need, you can always come back to this 3-minute space. And whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes.
Wow. I feel so calm now. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You do feel a bit more calm after the exercise. How long did that take?
I have no idea. I think we started, about three minutes, I think. Because I closed my eyes too, but I think roughly about 3 minutes.
I see. Well, I see our viewers, so maybe they were doing it as well. So
Yeah.
Maybe you guys can replay it next time when you feel stressed, go to like minute 45 and then try. It was really good, really good. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. So, whenever you're stressed, 3 minutes would make a big difference. And if, let's say, you don't even have that 3 minutes, right? You can focus the middle bit that we did just now is focusing on your breathing, like the air going in, then into your lungs, then coming out.
Yeah. That's why when people feel stressed, they're like, let me breathe kind of thing, right? So it's like, yeah. Okay, so breathing is very important. All right, I think we kind of overtime a little bit already. So maybe I'll just final question, like Evie, do you have anything you want to share regarding like the work that you do? Do share with us. We want to get to know you better. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever it comes to, mental health problems, right? A lot of people actually thinks that, people with depression or anxiety, they would come to us, or with some really serious mental health problems, they would come to us. But actually, I shared with Lee Hong earlier that I do have a lot of clients coming in because they want to understand a little bit more about themselves. They want to, as part of self-development and growth as well, on how to improve relationships even, right? So, I mean, to debunk the myths about people with only serious mental health problems come to see us, no, that's not true, okay? For us, apart from counseling, therapy, we also offer trainings. We do talks as well. In my center at Sri Petaling, very near Bukit Jalil, the running track. So at Sri Petaling,
you do have some runners there. Yeah, some members stay there.
Yeah, I run there too sometimes. So we do offer free stress screening. In that stress screening, you can see like your current level of stress, and we do have like free 15 minutes consultation too. So if you would like to have that, I will drop our number at the comments section later, maybe.
Go ahead. I can also share it as a post later on.
Yeah.
To recap. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what we'll talk about.
But any one of you, if you'd like to know more about mental health, visit our Facebook page. You just type on Facebook MPSPSY, and then you can speak to us. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much,
Thank
Evie.
you.
I really appreciated it. Like, thank you for coming on board. And I know you're very busy right now. With basically getting your center up and running, especially now NPO is over. So
Yeah.
so thank you for coming on board. I think a lot of us have learned a bit more about how does running help us in terms of our mental preservation and wellness. And I think based on what we discussed, really the key message is that it's all about balance, understanding what helps, what your body needs, and what kind of activities help that. And running is one of them. Yeah, and also I agree with you. When you shared with me, you did like kind of open my mind a bit that it's not just about when you're feeling stressed only you want to go and run kind of thing. In the same way, it's about personal growth and understanding yourself. So it's about cultivating your mind, and that's why your clients go and see you. It's a more positive kind of approach, proactive in a way, right?
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's something that I strongly believe in, that we have to preserve and really take active approach to mental wellness. And I hope this little talk here like helps to spread the message to everyone out there. Yeah, it's very important to take care of your mental health as well as your physical health, because it will help. And even in all those you say don't eat, but basically the bottom line is if you don't take care of mental health and your emotions, then you start feeling painful. So like
Yeah.
then it's a vicious cycle. So yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you again. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, everyone. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Okay.